Hello, today we'll be reviewing the top performing funds in the Philippines today. So let's go check it in uitf.com.ph. So this is a public site you can look up. So what we'll do is to click on the upper right one and look for returns and performance. At this point in classification, we can click on equity funds, especially if you're interested to invest for long term. You can put in PHP and year to date. Okay. So it's showing how many entries? 43 entries. So let's check it. So these are the performing, so these are the funds 41 to 43, UCPB, BPI, UCPB. And 40 is we have these banks. You'll notice that these are the UITFs offered in the banks, right? And it's understandable because if these funds are placed in local baskets, right, our local funds are still recovering. So these are the top 21 to 30. And top 11 to 20. So you'll notice that from the top 11 or possibly top 6 to 43, the characteristic of these funds are local funds, most likely, right? So, of course, we just came from a low last year around end of March to April, and it has slowly been recovering from May onwards. So these are the so basically if you placed money from last year to this year, it's still recovering. What's interesting also is this is the top 10. So top 10 is we have BDO, RCBC, Metro Bank, Manulife Asset Management, Asia Bank. So what I want to highlight is from these funds, you'll notice that these are local funds and the top performing funds actually. So I want to highlight the top 5. Top 5 is Asia Pacific REIT Fund. This is an offshore fund. So there is an opportunity right now to invest in offshore markets even if you are here in the Philippines, whether you're holding peso or USD. So REIT fund is doing 2.4% already year to date. Number 4 fund is also Asia Pacific REIT Fund, Real Estate Investment Trust. So you can imagine this is minimum 50,000, and instead of buying millions or shelling out millions for a property, this is an idea where you can place minimum 50,000 and it's placed in usually in Singapore. So 60+% is in Singapore, and it is it also has actually payouts, biannual payouts. And so my story about this REIT fund is the fund that I placed in 2018, 50,000 was around 70 last year, 2020. So apart from the biannual payouts, you'll also see there that this performed too. Now, the third top 3 fund in the Philippines today in UITF is Manulife Dragon Growth Equity Feeder Fund. So this one is placed in Chinese companies. So these are also offshore funds, and it's 4.2 already. Asia Best Select is placed in technology companies in Asia Pacific region. So if you feel like technology is the way to go in the next coming years, so you can also invest here. To highlight, Manulife Dragon Growth Fund, Asia Best Select, and this top one performing fund, which is year to date 20% already, is Manulife American Growth Fund. This is at a minimum of 5,000 pesos only. So you can start investing, and it's cute, right? Imagine if you placed 100,000 by end of the end of December to June. So first 6 months, right? For half year performance, it's 20%. So for 100,000, it's 20,000 already. For 1 million placement, that's 200 right there. So these are opportunities that I'm updating you about, and which you can also look at. And especially I want to highlight that at this time, interestingly, at the time of pandemic, the amount of money in the bank according to PDIC is at 14 trillion. Imagine. So the question there is, when was the last time that your money in the bank specifically beat inflation, right? So you really want to check out these funds to further purpose of beating the increasing cost of goods or inflation, right? So if you're interested to know more about this, I'll be glad to walk you through it. Just message me. Have a great second half of the year.